What did running that race with your dad to win that 10-point win for him in Congress, what did that teach you about what motivates people? I think it's important for people. I asked for two reasons, Terry, with this lens. One is people need to know how to motivate other people to achieve the ends they're hoping for. But number two, people need to know how to motivate themselves. So many people have goals, but their motivation structure is off. So they never achieve their goal because they never identified what actually will motivate them to get there. So talk to us about motivating. You had to do a lot of that to flip an incumbent seat that was for 30 years held strong.
Well, the number one most important thing for any venture is hope, right? If you don't
Mm,
have hope in your operation or your organization or your family, it's going to fall apart very quickly. People want to know that the fight that they're involved in has some chance of victory. It might be a small chance of victory, but if you have that small chance of victory, if it's worth it, if that victory is worth fighting for and attaining for, people will walk through hell. I mean, the hell we have, it's called D-Day, right? And there are thousands of other battles that human beings have gone through and put themselves through
yeah.
because there was hope and because the victory was so important. The other thing I'll tell you is I can't tell you one thing that motivates people. The big thing I learned about motivating people is different issues motivate different sect of people, right? Some people care about pro-life. Other people care about, having affordable housing. Other people cared about getting rid of Obamacare. Everyone has a different thing that's motivating them in the election. I think, just from like a hot take standpoint, I think there's something spiritual about our lives, right? And if God's real, which he is, he's kind of the main character. And so there are different things that are drawing us which way and the other. And coalitions are how you win campaigns. Right. If you look at
Mm,
President Trump, people will try, the pundits, like the people that go on TV, they'll try and tell you, oh, it was the economy. Oh, it was the women's sports issue. It was actually a little bit of everything. Right. He had the Maha voters that cared about the food that we're eating and the chemicals that are being put in there. It was the pro-lifers who wanted to leave abortion to the states and protect as many babies as possible. It was the people that wanted to get the gender stuff out of our schools. It was a whole host of reasons. People wanted better jobs. They didn't want the COVID stuff anymore. You win elections by building coalitions, and you build the right coalition by getting a campaign motto, a campaign platform that's very simple and understand, and all the issues fit in there. But each person is so unique, and you experience that when you do town halls, when you go on the campaign trail and have a rally and you talk to people, you find out just how different and diverse we all actually are.
wow. That's not what I expected, but good. I love when I get hit with unexpected answers to questions. All right. Last one on this segment here, Terry. It just emerged as I was hearing you talk about dad. Are you proud of your dad?
Trying to get me cry. Yeah, no, I love my dad. I miss him every day. Um, he works so hard, and I think I've done a lot of stuff with people talking about their dads. We just did a whole documentary called Fathers Wanted, and fatherhood was the central theme. And the one thing that I kept hearing about from these men and these women is, oh, my dad works so hard, and I think that that's ultimately it's getting at something, right? It's not that they work so hard, it's that they love us and they're willing to sacrifice themselves for our betterment, for our fulfillment, so that we can have a better life for them. That's what I think made my dad exceptionally special. My dad, I've been talking about this recently and it's covered in the documentary. He struggled with crack addiction. He came about, he's a senior in high school in the early 80s. This is at the height of, or at the beginning of the crack epidemic. They didn't even really like know what they were getting into, but he got into it and he
Whoa.
got clean. My mom told me that he would go on 3-day benders where he wouldn't come home. This is when I was like a little kid. He gave that up for me. And so if I was to summarize, like, yes, obviously I'm proud of my dad. I miss him every day. But I think the thing I'm most grateful for is that he died to himself. He sacrificed his desires, his life, so that we could have a good one. And I think that's at the heart of all fatherhood is a love, a sacrificial love that's willing to sacrifice yourself for your children and for your spouse.